All right. We are ready, and you know what? I would say this is fitting. This is impressively terrible.
Yeah, well, I just started my record, so I've got audio capture on my end for my mic.
Excellent. All right. I say we drop in then. Let's get this entire thing out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
All right. Hello and welcome to my least favorite podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Ben.
In this premiere two-part series of my least favorite podcast, we will be going in depth on only two games on one of the only two games created by Enlightening Development. What do you think of that, Ben?
Yeah.
The first game was released in September 2000. Catechumen is a first-person shooter video game designed for Christians. Built using the Genesis 3D open-source game engine, Catechumen began production in spring of 1999 and would cost $850,000 to make. While the game didn't sell great at 80,000 copies, that wasn't anything to sneeze at. It was good enough for a second game. Not a sequel, but a spiritual successor. Though similar in its commitment to both gameplay and containing Christian content, Ominous Horizons, A Paladin's Calling would be the game to sink Enlightening Development, selling far less copies in the end, but that's for episode 2. So without further ado, welcome to our two-part series on Enlightening Development Software Incorporated, beginning with their first game, Catechumen.
So, a quick question. Do you know how much this game cost when they first sold it?
No. I think this was more of like, we'll take what we can get, and please invest in our product. We will get into investment by the end here as well.
Okay, I just remember when I played this, I don't remember there ever being a price tag attached to it. So, I wonder how much they made off of those 80,000 copies they sold.
Yeah, that's the thing. The return doesn't seem like it. Well, the price tag initially was $49.99 as far as like retail.
This was a $50 game?
$50 off the shelf,
so
yeah.
Just out of my own curiosity here, so if they dropped in $850,000 on it and they sold 80,000 copies, they needed to be, they would have made money, because I think they would have needed to make like $10 a copy at 80,000 copies. So
yeah, that sounds about, especially in the video game development realm, because the return on a game is very minimal. That's why you have to be a hit.
A big hit, yeah. You got to sell millions of copies, or you're sunk.
All right, so let's talk about the word and its history. So spelled Catechumen, catechumen, is defined by Merriam-Webster as 1, a convert to Christianity receiving training in doctrine and discipline before baptism, and 2, one receiving instruction in the basic doctrines of Christianity before admission to communicate membership in a church. I mean,
so it's like being a pre-religious.
Yeah. Do you know much about catechumen? Did you hear that word coming up much beyond this game?
I know that Catholics have like a class that you're supposed to take if you're someone that isn't Catholic and wants to become one, and I think that they have a word for it that's similar to catechumen. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but they have something that's close to that. But I don't know, have you ever heard someone that's like, I'm going to be a Baptist, right? But I'm a catechumen first.
Right. Well,
and probably not a very modern word currently.
Education of the faith would be referred to as catechesis, which is a basic education on the ways of a Christian. A catechumen would learn through a catechism, which is simply a test with many answers or questions and set answers. The beginnings of the Christian expansion into Roman culture was one of secrecy and ritual. It's known that Christians have spent time hiding in catacombs in Rome. However, the word catacomb has nothing to do with the word catechumen, which I did throw in there because I thought it almost had to, especially with the game sending you deep into Rome. People who would be looking to become a part of the Christian faith would have a sponsor and be taught the ways of the Christian church over the course of approximately a year. And that changed a lot, give or take, depending on a few factors. Now, this time frame would change dramatically as Rome became more of a Christian society, and many infants would be baptized, then followed by confirmation and eating of the Eucharist in their later years.
And that's actually, the Catholics still do the sponsor and the year of classes. I think it's still a year. When you're trying to get into the faith.
Yeah. And even when I was in the Methodist Church, there was still the confirmation period.
Yeah.
Now, that's not what the video game is about exactly, but we wanted to explain what a catechumen even is before we describe the game itself. When it comes to the game, let's start with the instructions. Now, I do want to throw a quick note in here. The instructions means like an HTML file that comes with the game, because
it's not a nice packet.
No. Because that packet, actually, I don't have access to, and I don't know why. It's the one thing that's really hard to find scanned online of this game. So
the box did come with like an insert, right?
A manual. Just a nice manual. General PC game box, comes in a jewel case.
But it's lost.
Yeah, I don't have that. All right. Now, at the top, it says spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare against a spiritual foe requires a spiritual weaponry. The Apostle Paul said, "The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds." 2 Corinthians 10:4. We are also told to, quote, "put on the full armor of God" in Ephesians 6:11. Catechumen has brought these spiritual weapons into a virtual theater in which you, the player, can see and utilize the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, the breastplate of righteousness, words from the Lord, delivered by various angels, and other biblical weapons are used to eradicate demons, devils, and even Satan himself.
Which translates into health, shields, and a shooting sword.
Absolutely. In fact,
just as it was intended originally.
They give you a reason for all of this, and it is literally plucked verses. So the scrolls containing the Word of God are vital to the success of your quest. Whenever you pick one of these up, you notice that increases your faith, which sustains your health and flesh. Quote, "The Word of God is life and health unto your flesh." Proverbs 4:23. Quote, "Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word." Romans 10:17. All right, and then finally,
they really have the lore baked in on this one.
Yeah, they definitely plucked everything they needed. So then finally, before the general control scheme is described, we get the explanation of the health bar. Quote, "the heads-up display, HUD meter." So our health bar is our faith meter. And, quote, "the just shall live by faith." Romans 1:17. That'll do it. Got it. Armor of God, which is our shield bar. Quote, "putting on the whole armor of God, ... So they even cut the verse off for Ephesians 6:10. And sword of the Spirit, which is our ammo bar. Quote, "and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, ... So they also plucked Ephesians 6:17. All right. That's it.
So they've firmly established their lore there, biblically referenced it all. That's kind of impressive. I think it kind of goes to show you too that you can pick anything you want and try to make it fit with anything you want.
It works. I'm fine with this.
It does work.
I'm fine with this interpretation. So this whole thing takes place in Rome 171, the year 171 AD. He's dead, man.
In case you couldn't tell, it's the 80.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we boot the game up, we get a cutscene with a Christian, your mentor, being chased down by a Roman soldier and then taken to literal Satan. before being imprisoned and finally writing a letter that he will push out of his cell window. And it's to be assumed we as the player have received this note. Now let's take a listen to the intro of the game here to know what's on that paper.
If this message should find you, know that not all is well in Rome. I have been taken to a dungeon deep within Rome's temples, where I am held with several Christian brothers. It is difficult to see the light, but we hold faithful, ever vigilant for aid from the Lord. Your period of apprenticeship is nearing an end, and soon you will leave the title of Catechumen behind to become a fellow brother in Christ. Before that may pass, there is one thing that I ask. You must pray to the Lord that he may give you strength to enter the catacombs of Rome and free us.
Now greeted with the main menu, we can begin. Off the bat, I'll say there are a lot of difficulty settings in the game. Fledgling, easy, normal, hard, and impossible. Fledgling was called elementary before the final release, which I personally preferred. I played the game on fledgling because this game can be very difficult. So we've picked our difficulty. It's time to begin. Now, level 1. The Parthenon, which I did make a minor note because it's cool. That thing is still standing, and they're repairing it, and apparently they've done some previous repairs to it, but they were historically inaccurate, so they've been taking those apart and redoing them.
That's actually kind of cool.
Right? Let's get this shit right. Our unnamed player is in an empty courtyard with a statue and a key atop a stone bench. Jump on the key to pick it up. Take the key, move out of the courtyard, and you'll be greeted by 2 Roman soldiers guarding an entrance.
What are you looking at?
Simply run off to the side. Run off to the side of the building, and you'll unlock a gate with your key and encounter an angel. A very broad-chested angel floats before you.
Bold catechumen, this action to defy the evil one is not without risk. His demons have possessed the minds of Roman soldiers. If your heart be set upon action, then take the sword of the Spirit. Remember, confrontation is often best avoided. Father, Son, and Spirit.
He disappeared.
Now,
Do what?
I'd like to make a note here of what we encountered with this game, the bug.
Yes. So the bug is predominant, and there are 8 weapons in the game, and there is a bug in which if the frame rate goes over 50, the sword doesn't drop from the angel. He doesn't give it to you. He just continues to float there and rotate and look at you, holding the sword, basically taunting you with it. This game was not intended for modern computers that can run this game. So if you can use a frame rate limiter, go for it, because it's a pretty good way to make it work every time. Otherwise, you're going to try to slow the game down yourself in some way by just like overloading it. Because you do need some of these weapons if you're going to try to play it right.
Yeah, and this first sword is your basic shooty thing, and you have to have it to play any part of the game. So I ran this section several times. It did not drop, and what we fixed it by eventually you ended up sending me a save file where you had actually gotten it to drop.
Yeah, I created custom save files on the easy setting to where it was just in front of the actually dropped sword because it's a mess. All right. So he disappears, leaving behind a sword. While the sword does make the sound of being unsheathed, you only use it to shoot beams. Now, you'll get 8 weapons in this game. The first being the Sword of the Spirit, a low-powered, straight-shooting, recharging mainstay. Time to shoot up some Roman soldiers. So you open the doors in the game, just walk into them. As soon as you go through the door, the soldiers start to aggro, and that's whether you've obtained the sword or not. You'll learn 2 things very quickly. The AI is not great, and the enemies in the game are pretty fast. So, Ben, you noticed immediately that the first thing they do is just try to attack you.
Yeah, so if there's 2 of them, they'll run up to you, and one of them will grab you, and then the other one will It's an insta kill if there's two of them that aggro onto you and one of them grabs you.
Game over.
If you kill, it's which is frustrating.
No kill.
And then if you kill one of them and the other one still runs up to you, he'll still try to grab you, but I don't even know if it does any damage or not. I don't remember.
It does. It'll do some damage.
Okay.
So,
but it doesn't kill you.
You start shooting up these Romans, and how do they die? In a beam of light from the sky, dropping them to one knee in a praying pose. And to put the cherry on top of proving they're not actually being killed, we're presented with one of two sound bites. Either this one, or we get to hear this one.
It's just down like an octave.
Moving along, you'll do what?
They're saved then. They're not you're saving them somehow by shooting them with the magic sword.
Right. And although it's inferred you're essentially exorcising demons from the soldiers by blasting them with the sword of the spirit, that doesn't exactly come across. But yeah, your meter will go down and game over if two of them, which again, very quick, get their hands on you. So you'll eventually get the game over almost immediately if you've never played the game. And for me, when I was making the edits for the video I put up of my playthrough, I heard this so many times. Well, you get the keys scattered about the Parthenon and unlock doors to begin working down under Rome. And we jump down a grate to level 2, the bathhouse, which I was really hoping would have a lot more Roman soldiers in it, just nude or in towels. But they didn't have enough room in their asset folder, so...
It's just a size problem.
Yeah, I imagine that was it. Now we walk through a grate on the wall and into a small room where we encounter the same angel as before.
Well done. You are worthy to continue. Your eyes and ears shall be open to the Spirit, and I shall grant you my sword. Keep its charge up and seek strength in the Word. Take courage, Catechumen.
Now with the gold sword in hand, a rapid fire style with yellow orbs being projected from its tip. None of these make any sense, honestly.
It's just different shooters.
It does not auto-recharge, so we must start obtaining ammo lying around. Walking into the first room reveals a couple of large baths, basically small pools, and this is the first place we can find ammunition at the bottom of one of the large water basins. The ammo is just more swords. So we have ammo, and it's time to kill. We get to kill demons. And
there's no Bible verse for the ammo, is there? There's no lore for it.
No, it's just an actual sword lying around that looks like the sword that you need ammunition for. That's it.
Man, I feel like that's a really easy one that they missed. There's got to be plenty of stuff out there for them to reference on that.
Yeah, I think they referenced Quake. So the demons we encounter are of a smaller variety, and they lob little balls of energy at you. They'll also swipe at you up close. Now, exiting that room into a small courtyard, there are 3 doors, all of which you can enter. Traversing around, you'll shoot down small demons and a few Roman guards that will never interact with each other, which sucks, because I'd like to see the Romans start firing or trying to grab the demons, but that doesn't happen ever.
Well, following through on the logic of the Romans being possessed, it would make sense. The lore holds up there.
They do explain how exactly the Romans are getting possessed. So you have to open a water valve by simply walking into it, draining a pool, allowing you access to that room, and obtaining another key to unlock a door, pushing you deeper, where you load in level 3. The temple. Greeted with a different angel, though really just the same angel with a slightly different skin, we are awarded another sword.
Intrepid Catechumen, Not all Romans believe in the false gods that inhabit these halls. A Christian faith is growing in Rome. Keep your wiles about you to discover the secret of the temple. Father, Son, and Spirit.
The drill sword is designed almost with a statue in mind and shoots a single laser beam at a time with exact precision. We move forward in the only direction, through a door that puts us in a bit of a temple room containing a few small demons. You can actually find a hidden room in here by bumping along the opposite wall of when you first enter. There are a few scrolls in here, health packs. If you enter the secret room and run all the way to the left, then bump along that wall, you'll find yet another path to a balcony overlooking the room you just killed all those little demons, and some shield. Moving along through the only door in the room, you descend to a room with 5 rooms. One door is locked, but has 4 carvings around it. A boot with a wing, a bird, a trident, and a shield. So going into the remaining 4 rooms will give you simple puzzles to complete, at the end of which you'll now have an item to place into the wall around the locked door. The puzzles can be done in any order. You'll have to traverse an invisible maze, basically hard-to-see glass walls. Here you'll get the trident. There's a platforming section where you have to walk across many poles to reach the opposite side where you pick up the boot. Another room has you moving 4 boxes to jump on in order to exit the basement you're required to drop in, as it contains the bird. Next up, you'll have to either run very fast or defeat 2 of a new type of demon, a tall variety that moves quite quickly, rolling and flipping around at you. They will come up close and maul you to death. But, like the small demons, they can also lob balls of light at you. In the final room, you'll enter a very dungeon-esque basement that is dark, and by just bolting to the end and running back, you can easily get the shield. Walking up to the carving on the wall places the item in the slot. Going through the now unlocked door takes us straight into level 4, the Colosseum.
So for the weapon drops that have happened so far, you get your basic like equivalent of a pistol from the first angel.
Right.
The second one gives you what would be a kind of a rifle, right? Because that's the one that you pick up the ammo for.
Yeah, and it's more
and then the
rapid
third
fire.
one is the third one would be like almost a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Or at least a more precise one, since there's no zoom.
Yeah,
Do
higher
any of the
power.
weapons in this game have zoom?
You can always zoom in, but really all it does is actually like zoom in your screen.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not really a zoom. It just like zooms in to the reticle that you've chosen.
That's really high quality.
Nope. You crouch through a broken wall into a small room. You'll hear music and the roar of a lion. You're in the middle of the Colosseum, about to be attacked. There's absolutely zero crowd, both in sound and in visuals. And you and you can kill the lion by shooting it a few times. But don't get quartered because it's vicious. You'll be mauled to death in a second. I don't find it worth it because the lion is very easy to outrun and you'll have to just fight it again since the large feline will respawn every time you leave and re-enter the arena, which you're about to do a lot. Anyway, to move on, enter the large door on the left as you first walk into the arena. Once in the door far enough, the music and lion roar sound will abruptly stop. You'll descend some stairs and blast a few more Romans into the light via your choice of available swords. Enter the only unlocked room to move some boxes and get a key. Then go to the only other door in the previous room and use that key to unlock it. Down some stairs to see 3 more doors. Though you really only need to enter the center one. Move a box so you can enter a small room with a key in it, then backtrack to the arena and go to the next door on your left. Down some stairs to see a few prison cells. One contains a Christian on his knees praying, but the door is locked. So jump Drop down the stairs directly to the left of a cell, move some barrels of various size to collect yet another key hanging on the wall. Move the barrels again to get back up to the stairs. Unlock the cell and free your first prisoner.
Thank the Father, you've saved me. I thought I was lion food for sure. You must help the others. They're down below in the old prison. Hurry.
I feel that every person that developed this game recorded many voice lines.
I feel like that as well. So move a box behind him to reveal a small hidden room with some shielding in it. Retrace your steps to the arena and move yet again to the door to your left. You'll be presented with a door, then two paths, left and right. Follow through the door on the right, descend a staircase, fighting through a few small demons. Open the only door down there, kill the last two small demons in the room, and on the back left wall you can open another hidden area. It contains a small table with some scrolls on it. Return to the top and take the left path now. You'll again go down some stairs to another set of prison cells. You'll have to contend with 5 Roman soldiers. So get your Jesus blaster of choice ready. You can get some extra ammo around here, but watch out, because in one of the cells we have a tall demon that rolls around at you. Finally, you'll find more stairs in here to further your location in Rome. You're going to get attacked by 2 more tall demons, so be prepped. Hopefully you've collected all those keys, because now you can go through the large double doors to level 5, the prison. And our goal is to free all of our Christian brothers, right? So we're almost to the end. That's got to be it. There's 18 levels in this game, man.
Oh my god. That is too many. They didn't need to go that hard.
You're correct. So this level doesn't explain well at all. So let's do a run through. You and I. Let's do it. You encounter a room with 5 doors. One of those you just came through. Only one of those doors are unlocked. Help a couple of Roman soldiers with their heathenistic ways by shooting them. Move some boxes, get a key, unlock the only door in the current room you're standing in, shoot some more soldiers, and collect a key hanging on the wall by just walking into it. No need to move boxes. Follow that path back and open the only standout door, which is in the direct center of the room. Descend to find some soldiers and cells. 2 sets of cell blocks, Both blocks require you to walk into a switch directly outside of the room, which will open all the cells. You'll be able to save one of your brethren down here.
Hallelujah! Let the Lord's light shine. I am thankful for your bravery and shall pray for your success.
You'll get 2 keys here that allow you to finally access those 2 doors you encounter at the beginning of the level. First, a small room with a lion. If you get the shield in the middle of the room, you fall through the floor and have no direction to go except back to the room of doors. So go through the final door that is locked. You're now headed up some stairs. Kill the 5 large demons running around and ascend a ladder inside of a pillar. You're now about to encounter the next angel.
Kind-hearted Catechumen, fear not, for there is no obstacle too great for the power of the Word. Your faith, and the faith of those you have rescued, shall lead us to victory. Remember, with faith the size of a mustard seed, mountains will move before you for Christ.
Now equipped with the lightning sword, a dual-bladed sword that can shoot continuous streams of electricity, it's time to move on to level 6, the barracks. Entering down a hall, you'll see a wooden bridge suspended over lava. And not only that, but you'll cross the bridge into a clearly built section of the Roman underground, with full constructed walls and ceilings. So why they put a simple little rope and wooden bridge 2 inches over lava, I'm not sure. However, I don't know if the method should be questioned, as it does hold up. Regardless, pick up the plethora of ammo lying around in the room across the bridge as you're about to enter a room with a fuck ton of small demons. I didn't count, but quite literally, there's got to be like 40 of these things that just keep coming in.
Ow, that's a lot.
It's so overloaded, it's insane. I actually would suggest you run past it. Run through the door at the end run through the door and to the end of the room. There's a door on your right and your left. Take the door on the right and kill a small demon. Follow the hall to the first door on your right, entering a large round room. You have a tall demon on you. Kill him and get the useless shield in the middle of the room. I forgot. It is a very useless shield. So the shield in this game can be obliterated in no time. Again, I played on the easiest setting. Picking it up did nothing for me whatsoever at any point. It would fill your shield up. Anytime you pick it up, it fills it up entirely. But it doesn't last for anything.
How many hits for the shield to be
Feels
depleted?
like it's like 2. And you get hit so easy in this game.
Yeah, that's not very helpful. So it'd be better if it was like the health pickup scrolls or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. If there was more of them and it got decreased a lot slower, I'd take that if I had to find more. All right, so you can exit a door here, which will bring you up some stairs and be able to fight some more red baddies. Inside of a castle setting. You'll traverse up a block wall with some small pegs coming off of it and eventually tightrope walk across a broken bridge. You can finally enter a cave that takes you deep into level 7, the Royal Burial Chamber. Now,
so at this point, I've noticed that this game has a lot of switch hunting, a lot of key grabbing, and not necessarily a great balance between the combat and the somewhat simplistic puzzle solving.
Now, we're going to get to it, and in fact, we're 2 levels away, but in this game, playing on the easiest setting was not my first choice. When I started to play this game, I'm like, I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I'm going to play on normal. Of course, why not? I play enough video games. I'm going to be doing a lot of research. And after trying easy out, after getting my ass kicked, I was like, well, I still have to beat it for the show, so I am not going to sit here all fucking... it's just terrible, man. All right, so Royal Burial Chamber. For me, this is the second most difficult level in the game. I was struggling. It's a lot of walking around and hitting large buttons. Yeah, no more switches, buttons on the wall in different rooms to unlock random doors. Random. So first thing you'll see is a door. Walk through it to be presented with a Roman statue and 3 doorways. 2 are locked and 1 is stuck open. Now, I want to save a headache for the listener and for myself. You'll make it down further into these catacombs and find elaborate tomb sites. Elaborate in the way that they are big. But it all looks the same and feels like the same direction. Here's an excerpt from the official walkthrough from Enlightening. Quote, "Go under the broken door, and in that room you'll see a button on the far wall. Hit that button and take the door to your right. Go into that room and hit the button on the far wall. Exit this room and back out into the last room. This is the room where you hit the first button. And here you'll see a wooden hatch that can be opened by bumping into it." End quote. It is so difficult to describe this level that we're about to just skip most of it. It's just a maze. Eventually, you wind the correct corner and open a door to be attacked by little bat demons. Fight them off, drop down, follow the only available path until you fall into the ground, which is level 8. Abandoned construction.
It seems like they could have cut at least 2 levels from this game, and they wouldn't have lost anything of quality.
You're correct, 100% without a doubt. In fact, they would have gained quality out of it. Now,
it would have been less to slog through.
Now, this is the most difficult level in the game for me, though that is because I was blind to the path. Before we get there, we are in a dirt hole again, and as we proceed, an angel appears and...
Resourceful Catechumen. Once Romans looked to expand their empire here, but they were driven out by demons who even now spread their corruption. Use your wits to utilize the unique power of Solomon's scepter and quell the evil here. In the name of the risen Lord.
Now awarded with Solomon's scepter, a staff with a large purple jewel at the end. When you discharge the weapon, it ejects a purple streaming ball of light that'll bounce around before exploding. or it will explode on impact of an enemy and yourself. So, exit the only door to see the half-constructed underbelly of Rome. You'll begin to run into some large demons with buff chests like the angels. These guys throw projectiles. They're actually one of the easier demons to defeat. They're more target to hit, and they move slower. In this first room, you'll just see empty, minimal structures. Between two of them, you'll see a large wooden fence with a sign saying, "Keep out." There's a doorway here to drop you even further into an underground castle section. Keep your swords ready and get good with Solomon's Scepter because you're gonna need it. You'll go through some obvious doors to see some more construction. This is where the game expects you to play it like a platformer, and it is not. You'll have to walk up random planks and then walk along edges of buildings and perform ridiculous jumps. Seriously ridiculous, to the point that I believe the way you beat this level is actually in the first room of the game. And not only that, but I did beat it that way. Now before that, let's explain how you would actually beat the level. You enter a room where you walk along a few edges, then jump from scaffolding to more scaffolding, drop down into a pool of water, find a doorway under the surface of the water, and walk up a ramp to dry land. Push a boulder that's obviously placed. It'll roll down a ramp, bust a wooden barrier to the next level. This ramp is on the other side of the fence that says "Keep Out" at the beginning of the level. To the right of the fence are two doors. One door, closest to a ledge you can walk up a ramp to, is active and will open when touched or walked into. The door furthest from the ledge is close to the top of the fence and does not open. And I began to assume, after missing the underwater doorway for some insane reason, because it's there. It's not an action. It's a doorway. It's not a door. I started to believe that you had to jump from the door that moves to the one that does not. And from there, a simple jump over the fence. It took many hours, and that's no joke. I just did it over and over. And it turns out it's entirely possible. When you jump the fence, you can activate the boulder rolling by walking up to the barrier that it will destroy when it rolls. Avoid the boulder when it rolls. Anyway, do it the right way to save time. Do it my way to waste a shitload of time. If you want to see the jump performed, it's in the full playthrough I posted on YouTube. And I did cut out many, many, many tries. There's a cut in the middle of there that's just like 2 hours of me completely running a circle, doing a jump, circle, jump, circle, jump. All right. We're past the barrier and on to level 9, the Catacombs. We're officially in the depths of the dead. You'll drop into a room with circular halls, rings inside of each other. Demon killing time. You're also on a key collecting mission again. There's a decrepit bridge you have to platform across. Sometimes a door will open that has demons shooting you off the bridge, and it's horrible. But most of the time, the door won't open, so it only sucks. Get across the red glowing room with a glowing key in it. It's blatant. Go back to your bullseye layout and run in circles until you find the branches from it that contain mixes of the demons you've been encountering. But at the end, you get to drop down another opening to find a dead end with yet another angel.
Courageous Catechumen, you have vanquished the Minotaur. Now it is time to venture deeper into the very heart of this viper's den. I shall open the way for you. Steel yourself with faith, Father, Son, and Spirit.
You now have the Tri-Repeater, a 3-bladed weapon with rapid-fire action. Proceed through the opening made by the angel and find yourself in level 10, the underground farm. There is less farm here and more water and tunnels, a few buildings, and some required swimming. It's one of the more straightforward levels. You'll head down very direct underground tunnels that open into torchlit caverns, usually with a bit of water down the middle, either a bridge across or you can swim into a ladder. In general, it's just one tunnel to a room and repeat. You'll also begin to get attacked by a suicide bombing type of demon. They'll run up on you and explode in an energy ball. One room has no place to go but up and into more tunnels through more rooms. Some of my favorite settings in the game are here, simple lighting and dark corners, but it opens into large caverns with half man-made walls and enclosures with hogs in them. You can't kill the animals, but you can shoot them forever. And they even have sounds like they're getting hit. Moving along, you'll be required.
A strange design choice.
Yeah, because they don't really fit in the area. Moving along, you'll be required to drop into a deep water pit with an underground opening. I did find, since you have to, no matter what. You'll get up a ladder to find a huge cavern with a bridge suspended over a seemingly endless pit. You cross over and the bridge falls behind you. This creates a pretty seamless transition to level 11, lava tunnels. Now get ready to use a lot of ammo on some giant hellhounds. These things can take a beating. Due to the narrow halls and your incredible speed when running, they can be pretty easy to outrun. They can't shoot anything at you and will get stuck on almost anything. The tunnels are a mess of a maze. You'll find a room that allows you to hit a switch, lifting a cage, and freeing another Christian. When you make it back down to his location...
Blessed salvation! I managed to grab this key on my way down. Perhaps it'll help you on your quest. Fight for the Lord!
Head out the only way that you didn't enter, walk carefully around some lava pits, and if you're being chased by the hounds, make them come toward the pits, they'll fall in and actually die in a reasonable time. Follow this pretty straightforward path and find a room at a dead end. This room has a terribly dangerous werewolf-like demon. It's not much of a bullet sponge, however, it can shoot rays from its mouth exactly like Cyclops from X-Men can from his eyes. It is a devastating blow when it makes contact. Anyhow, kill that dude in advance by taking the door in this room. You're now protected by another electricity field and an angel to bring you a new weapon.
Powerful Catechumen, such skill in evading the sentries. I have sealed the way behind to keep them from you. You have shown to be good soil, and the vine of faith grows readily within. Now take Moses' staff and witness the seas of evil part before you. For Christ.
Moses' staff looks very royal and shoots like a Roman candle with extreme accuracy. You can now...
So this would be the rocket launcher of the game, right?
Yeah, but you would hope it's more devastating, you know?
So, like, extremely underpowered.
Yeah. You can now do what?
It's probably worth noting, though, that the glitch with the first angel not dropping the sword applies to all of these weapon pickups that have happened so far.
And
for each of those, you got to save before you get up to it, and then you have to run it and run it and run it until it correctly triggers and drops the weapon.
Absolutely. Unless you can get a frame limiter to work, which I wasn't able to. Which sucks. Level 12. Giant Cave. A lot of these level names are easily confused for previous or future levels.
Yeah, it sounds... Giant Cave could have been Underground Farm or Abandoned Construction or Royal Burial Chamber.
You're in a man-made area. Blocks form halls, rooms, and are decorated with gargoyles. Now, the gargoyles don't all come alive, but most of them do, and they will attack ferociously. You'll push on very quickly into a full-blown castle setting, with demons of all previously seen types ready to take all your faith. There's a castle gate, but it's locked down tight. So move along to the largest cave seen yet. Plus a new enemy type called a guard. It's an ogre or a troll, but just imagine Sloth from the Goonies, in only a loincloth and swinging a club. They can fire projectile light balls at you by stopping and swinging their club at you. The caves act as a passage to get on top of sections of the castle, allowing you to activate switches that unlock the gate seen near the beginning. With the gate unlocked, you'll have to defeat another werewolf demon and move on to level 13. Conversion Chamber. Entering a set of doors brings you down a hallway lit by green strips of light along the floor. Pressing a green button takes you down another hall lit the same way. The green is set into the columns, and the layout is reminiscent of a temple. You can find a section of the level with the first teleporter. An eye in the ceiling emits a beam. When stepped into, transports you into a small room full of scrolls. A blue beam in the middle of that room returns you to the eye. There's a new type of puzzle here which has you reading a pattern of letters on a wall outside of a room that correlates with the path you'll need to walk in said room. So I guess less of a puzzle and it's more of an inconvenience. There's a room in the depths that has 3 randomly constructed prison cells. Hit a button in the room, opening all 3, and free the one person held there, yet another one of your brethren.
Thanks be to God. Satan is using a strange mechanism to possess the minds of the Roman centurions. You must destroy this unholy instrument of darkness. May God give you strength.
Carry on and find a button that is giant, red, and says, quote, "Do not push" on it. Walk up to it and watch the windowed room adjacent as a large mechanical machine explodes. That machine is what Satan is using to convert the Romans to evil agents of chaos.
Okay, so that's quite the tone break.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
It's so bizarre to go from like demons possessing people to giant red button and machine.
And pretty much all that tells you that is that there is a machine and what we just played, which is what that Christian said. That's about all you get to know that. Oh, and the walkthrough guide explains that if for some reason you downloaded that from their site at the time it was available.
So there's not much of an explanation. Nope. There's just a giant red button and a machine, and you have to get that information from outside the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, what a design choice.
Mm-hmm. Once at the conversion machine room, shoot the many soldiers until you've saved every soul. Then proceed through the busted wall behind the now defunct machine to level 14. Castle Dungeon. Is that ominous?
It sounds a lot like Giant Cave.
It is. In a little room, the final angel appears.
Faithful servant, blessed are ye. The final hour is now upon this battle. Take Gabriel's sword with you. Use it to give the Lord but another victory in his holy war. For Christ.
Equipped with the 8th and final weapon, called in the in-game menu the Beam Sword, a hardy beam of direct light with hefty damage emits from it. The appearance is pretty simple. It's a sword. Onward, we find lava flowing under the floors of the dungeon. And yet, another enemy. This time, a fallen angel. Which, this is a reference for you and I. But it, to me, looks almost perfectly identical to the Archangel's The Fall concept art.
I wonder if there's any relation between those two.
It'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking we'll do a series on Time Stream and see where that goes. But until then, this time it's a fallen angel. They're kind of gray-skinned. They have the wings, nice dark and black attire. But they're pretty easy. They're not even very difficult in any way. I don't think there's... Now that I think back, I don't think there's a weapon I use that didn't kill them pretty simply. They're a lot like the early tall demons, but slower. This level is quite simple. With few places to go, you'll cover the map quickly. Along your path, the final Christian brethren will be freed from a cell with an actual bed. Why is it so important? How did this SOB get so far down here and a bed for some very weird reason? Well, it's crystal clear in the audio file name, which is Mentor Speech.
1,000 blessings to Christ. You found me. They have tried to shake my faith. I see you've held yours like a rock. We cannot leave now. As long as Satan resides here, he controls Rome. We must end the persecution, end the wickedness. I shall pray that my faith could increase yours. God bless and amen.
Some fine stuff down this low in the prisons. We have freed people from many different levels. Some of them were called prison, and these have always been entirely empty, tiny little rooms with a caged front that is somehow open. One of them was almost just like a cartoon cage that you would drop on somebody.
Yeah, it's another weird thing in this game.
The mentor speech. And again, would you, from any of that dialogue, have gone, oh, sweet, I got the mentor out?
No. Like, there's no feedback that you get from freeing these guys beyond it being an objective, and you get the little audio clip.
Yeah.
So you don't get a reward.
We did get a key once.
A key,
another key.
But there's no, like, it's just another way for you to get a key. You know, there's no difference between that and picking the first key up in the game. You did something, you got the key.
Exactly.
It doesn't give you a boost. It doesn't upgrade any of the weapons. You know, it's low risk, low reward.
Absolutely.
No reward.
Yeah. No, Ben, I almost feel like you and I have played this game in our past and created this entire show to give any of it fucking reason. So let's see here. So it's in this area. You also run across the room you need because it contains a button that drops a bridge to cross another lava pit. Cross that bridge, kill 2 suicide bombers, or just outrun them, and cross the threshold to level 15 Castle Courtyard. We're getting there, guys. I promise. This fucking map is obnoxious. It's time for an introduction to portals. Follow a hall to a dead end and only an inset wall on your left. A portal in a frame is against the wall. Take the only path which is through that portal. This, I think, is one of the better looking builds in the game, actually. You're clearly in a nefarious universe at this point. You've passed the realm of reality, and you're in something else altogether. A castle with vague cathedral architecture meant to look like an organ is across a moat full of lava. The sky is black, streaked with clouds of red. You have 4 portals on your side of the lava. Above the castle bridge is a series of different colored buttons, each with a key, like a door key. You know, Ben, the keys you've been seeing this whole time?
They're back. Shocker.
A symbol is engraved on each button. You can shoot them with your sword, which, real quickly, I recommend you use the one that recharges. Don't waste your fucking ammo on this. You can shoot them with your sword, and it'll play through a separate musical note for each. This puzzle is unique to itself in the game. You'll never get to do this again in the game. It's the only time. You have to find the best path through the portals to find the answer of which notes to play. The portals go all over, but will circle around to each other. One of which is terrible. It's essentially a huge column you teleport into, full of water. And another type of enemy that, to my knowledge, only shows up here is a serpent with a big chest and arms. It'll whip its tail at you and send you flying from your target, which is, of course, any other portal, because you're about to drown. There's one that apparates you in mid-air, showing the truly infinite void you found yourself in. The black skies streaked with red are all that exist, except a wagon wheel on its side you can land on if you aim. The whole time you fall, you're attacked by winged demons. There's a portal in the middle of the wheel, and another section you can end up in is a skinny, splitting path of rock suspended by nothing with a portal at either end. This area is also coated in winged demons. Eventually, you'll get to a room with a minotaur, a decorative hall that has a harp at one end, playing a simple tune on repeat. Every note played is also displayed with a glowing color. White, purple, orange, purple, orange. I like the quote from the official walkthrough. Quote, surprisingly enough, these are the first 5 notes to Amazing Grace. End quote.
They came up with it before it got made.
Right. The walkthrough has very few points like that, but that's the best one. Surprisingly, guys, it's almost like the guy writing it got told that day. And he's like, no fucking way, man.
Oh, man, can you believe this?
Shoot the color-coded keys and the drawbridge lowers. There's not a door across, but an oversized portal in front of a wall with Satan's face on it. Going through the portal brings you to level 16, the inner castle. Presented with a stark room with only ornate and large stairs, ascending, you proceed forward. Now in a torchlit castle, hallways large and roomy, no easy hiding. It's time to use your accumulated sword skills, as you'll be beat up by most of the large monsters you've been battling. You'll enter a room with 4 stained glass images featuring statues, one of which you can phase right through, revealing a healing pool and ammo lying about. You'll push on, finding a fancy room with carpeted stairs and tiled floor, plus a plethora of demons. You'll find you do a lot of going up this level instead of down. Eventually, flipping another switch to raise yet another bridge. Tell you what, they never get tired of that one. It'll bring you directly to level 17, Satan's Chamber, which sounds like the final level. We gotta be there.
Surprise, surprise. It's not.
You're now in full-on gargoyle and lava castle territory. You have to find a teleporter again. You'll drop down some vent holes in the castle. You can get back up by standing over the lava pit covered with a grate. It shoots you up with a gust, yet is still difficult to land at times, and you'll lose health or eventually your life if you drop. Once through the teleporter, you're in Satan's Chamber. He's there, flying around, throwing projectiles, taunting you.
Catechumen, where are you?
With some determination, he'll be damaged enough to disappear and go into another room. Take another portal with enough hopping, you'll be done quickly, meaning Satan flees and leaves behind a portal for you to jump through. Now, you're in level 18. Inner Sanctum. Starting off in a room with simply a healing pool, ammo, and 1 portal, you get prepped and move out. Now on a flat platform with a portal on either side, columns protruding from either end, and the void outside of all of this, Satan attacks on home turf. The next few minutes are spent wasting every bit of ammo you have and running from portal to portal, collecting what you can while staying as alive as you can. But with the determination provided by God, you can defeat him, leaving behind a blue portal. You've beat the game and conquered the devil. He's dead.
Wow, 18 levels just for that.
He also withers in front of you and shrivels and then pops into non-existence. The final video plays. You'll finally see yourself as just another Christian character asset who cuts the chains of another brethren, who apparently is not the mentor, because as we discussed, he's been freed. The two exit the building and see all of the Roman soldiers fighting each other. In the background, 2 angels trumpet and announce the arrival of Christ, whose silhouette is in the fog. Credits.
So this ends with the rapture?
Yeah. In fact, the text on screen says the end, and then in parentheses under that of this battle. But yeah, it looks like the rapture, absolutely. 100%.
So they love switch hunting. They like
yeah, but they made some of them buttons.
Like, yeah, same difference, you know.
Yes. Sorry, I played a lot
either
of it.
way.
It is the same difference.
Either way, you're running and you're bumping or grabbing something, and then you go and you bump or grab something else.
Actually,
it seems like the level design.
Actually, hold on. No, you're right. There is no action key. I want everybody to know that. The entirety of the key collecting, the wheel turning, door opening, sword picking up, ammo picking up, life, shield, hidden doors, it's all walking up to it. There is no action key whatsoever.
Which is kind of odd, because even Doom has an action key.
Yeah, they have something, you noticed?
you hit E to interact. Like it's an interesting design choice. There's a lot of interesting design choices, and I'm wondering if that's based more off of the engine that they used, or they were just like, we'll just do it this way. It seems like the level design gets a little bit better there in the last quarter of the game.
It does. In fact, let's talk about some of it here. So if you beat the game on its impossible setting, you get the Hall of Fame, which is simply a hallway featuring the game's makers. You can walk around taking all the time you want before exiting. The map file is actually called Gallery, which brings us to the next segment, the breakdown of the game. I found out that the game was created with open source software from a forum some random guy set up in 2014 for Catechumen. With all of the tools available, it's simple to actually do an asset dump. Unfortunately, no one had done it on a site that had active links, and to my knowledge, it had only been done once before that. So I did that. I dumped every asset, and everything is on archive.org now. But the point is that there are 6 other map files. I have no idea how to access these in the actual game, and I've found no evidence of others mentioning them. To play the maps, I renamed them to level 2. So when I did a normal playthrough of the game, I would load level 2. That way I could have a weapon and recorded what I could in the maps. The first one is a giant's castle. That's the only way I can describe it. You've watched this video, right, Ben?
I went to Giant Castle.
Okay.
I actually ran around in that one a little bit, and yeah, it's just a big castle.
Yeah, simply titled castle.bsp. .bsp is the file extension for these maps. It's empty in every way, with almost nothing to explore, the only real object being a huge chair. The next is natworld.bsp. Speaking of which, Nat is in the gallery. It's N-A-T and then W-E-I-S-S. Nat Weiss. He seems to be somebody that worked on the game, and it seems like he also was in the creation of Catechumen since moment 1. I don't have a lot of information on it, but that's what I've picked up via everything collectively. So, Nat World is a weird map, using textures from the game to make an odd, huge room that you can kill Satan in. And you can climb the wall to enter a pool, swim all the way to the bottom, and find hogs walking around. There's a room at that bottom that defies physics as the water is held back by nothing. A wall in this room says, "Way to go!" And you can phase through a wall in there to a hallway with nothing to see. That's it. No clue. It is one of the better looking levels, though. Ralphdog.bsp. A box world with some buildings you can't enter, a little hog pen, and a gigantic minotaur. That's pretty much it. You can kill the beast, but nothing else. The fourth map up is called franchise.bsp. Franchise is also a name that comes up a lot, and because of this map, my opinion is that Franchise is one of the people on staff that is really good at the game. And franchise.bsp is an assault of demons and monsters, basically a map for punishment. The fifth map I found is the most confounding. You're in front of a door in the beginning. 2 paths, left or right. One way gives you the option to swim up the door's locked, by the way. One path gives you the option to swim up a water maze and obtain a key at the top. Another gives you a branch off that will allow you to shoot your sword down a narrow tunnel, revealing a key in the wall of the room you stand. 2 keys in hand would... Wait, what? Hold on. 2 keys in hand would, you think, open the door, but it doesn't. The only other room I found is a very tall spiral staircase. At the top is a long drop through a column into water, but it's blocked off. Neither key unlocks this. I was never able to figure out what to do here. I hope we have someone reach out about it. The final map, which, by the way, I hope anybody reaches out about that one, because there's no way to get through the only doors in the they both say they're locked. There's 2 keys. You can get the keys, and they don't unlock the doors.
There's probably nothing there. It's just a test environment.
I assume so. It's cool, though. The final map I found is the most fun for sure. It answered a question I had when exploring the audio files from the game. In the main game, Romans will say things like,
"Why are we guarding this place? It stinks down."
And
that lousy food in the garrison is giving me gas.
Every single Roman audio file has an alternate, but only the Roman. And that sounds like this.
That lousy food in the garrison is giving me gas.
The reason,
but why?
The reason for these files is revealed in Roman.bsp. You begin in an elevated, carved-out block of a wall, a dark room ahead with pillars of descending size protruding from the ground. You have to step out towards the pillars, largest to smallest, and you'll be on an invisible platform. However, the name of the map comes from the many tiny Roman soldiers running around on the ground.
I'm here for you. Never any help when you need it.
Following across the pillars, you're presented with another room that has big mushrooms to jump across. More mini soldiers on the ground. In the final little room, everything is insane. You just have to step on a moving platform and ride it to the other side and exit through a portal. But the walls, ceiling, and floor are all flickering and static and have their own color. More miniature soldiers roam the floor. That's all of the hidden levels in the game. A few of them are just the nicknames of a few employees, so I would imagine that it's just some levels made out of fun for the programmers to know about. But these levels didn't exist in the files for the demo versions of Catechumen. They were included on the official release.
And they're not unlockable, as far as you know, with the exception of the creator hall.
Exactly.
For beating the game on the hardest difficulty. The rest of them, like, you got them in the dump, but there's not another way to get at them.
No, and it's very weird. I had to rename them. I don't understand if there's a way to actually get to them.
You know, I wonder too if there's if it might be some content like the just some assets that were unintentionally left over, or they were like, well, there's enough space here, we don't need to remove them for any reason.
Right, that's kind of what I wonder. I think it may have been unintentional, but
because what was the other unintentional piece? There's an asset from one of the videos, right?
I forgot about that. So the video file at the beginning before you start the game, and then the video file that ends the game are actually .avi video files, and they look really shitty because of it. But the point being is that the assets in those video files are not all present in the game. But there is one asset file that is not present in the game. However, it is still in the asset files. And I believe that it's because it was used to animate one of those movies, because at the very end, when you swing your sword and cut the chains of your Christian brethren,
in the final cutscene,
he uses a sword unlike anything you've seen that's just a normal sword and cuts it. And the asset is just an arm with a sword that looks like that has the animation of cutting, and that's about it. So it makes sense.
And then there's also kind of the oddity with, it's probably a game engine thing, but there's the oddity with the AVIs don't have sound on them, right?
Yeah, they exist as video files in the game folders, but there's no sound attached to them. The sound is in the sound asset files and will only play properly in sync if played in-game.
Or you could probably, in theory, like pull them together in an external third-party program. But yeah, it's an interesting that those two are separated.
Here's the question, Ben. Where exactly did this game even come from? A man named Ralph Bagley founded Enlightening Software Development Incorporated in 1999. The company was created not exactly with the idea of it being a Christian gaming company, but that was almost secondary to the first goal. This is from the Enlightening press release kit. Quote, "The mission of this company is to produce high-quality action-adventure video games that do not portray violence to human beings or feature blood, guts, and gore." End quote. Bagley began to pitch his idea for a game that would fit this standard, and Catechumen was turned down many times in 1996. Reportedly, it wouldn't be until late 1999 that investors would show interest. On April 20th, 1999, the bowel cancer known as Dylan Klebold and anal fissure known as Eric Harris shot up Columbine High School. The media played the story that games like Quake and Doom were their favorite games to play, and how that had to be a reason for there being horrible pieces of shit. It's not. They're horrible pieces of shit, and that's why. Anyhow, this brought more investors' interest. A few guns, and we got money, guys. Around the end of 1999, a game company, Trilobite, was closing its doors. Their co-founder, lead designer, was leaving for id Software and would go on to be a lead designer for Quake 3. But other game makers were out of a job. Ralph assembled a team, and with investor backing, he was off. In 18 months, Catechumen was on shelves in September 2000, and not exactly selling like gangbusters, but it did make it to game stores. And in December 2000, Enlightening put full-page ads in PC Gamer and Computer Gaming World magazines. They were also lucky enough to get a demo included on the disc that came with the December issue of Computer Gaming World. In the description, it reads, quote, "Run around Rome and light up Jeremiah and Joseph with crucifix-based weaponry," end quote. Which makes no sense. None of that happens or is even alluded to. Those two are never even mentioned in any way. No matter, the push was helpful and reviews were neutral enough. One of the largest complaints being that it was a single-player-only experience. But the game was made with some understanding, and it proved successful enough. Receiving plenty of press, Catechumen would find its place in gaming history. Today, a miniature group of speedrunners have records in completing the game in under 40 minutes. One of those done on the impossible difficulty. The Catechumen forums mentioned earlier has posts on it as recent as February 2021 from random people, and March 2021 from myself. The game files are classified as abandonware and can be found with incredible ease. If you want to play the game for yourself, we have some tips. So if you don't care about this part, well then, thanks for listening. All right, Ben, you've had some experience trying to install this game.
So it was actually pretty straightforward when I found out from you that the trick to installing the game is not to install the game.
Off the top, I want to say you will not play this game without the Englide wrapper. Now, the reason I mentioned that off the top is because it is just a bit of software that allows the game to run smoothly. We have a link in the show notes. Download it, run it, that's literally it. However, to do some aspect correction, you're going to open the Inglide configurator. For your screen resolution, select the aspect ratio of your monitor or select, quote, by desktop. And next, set aspect ratio to aspect correction. Click apply, then exit, and you're ready to, quote, install the game. This part's great. We had to get Inglide out of the way, otherwise the game doesn't work. So sorry about that, everybody, but you need it. In our show notes, we've uploaded a custom zip folder containing a README file, an ISO file, and the actual game files. The reason we've done that is that it is actually pretty difficult to run this game. So use something to mount the ISO file. We used, and therefore recommend, Daemon Tools Lite, spelled DAEMON, and run the catechumen.exe included in that zip file. But, yeah, we emphasize the install part because this game won't install. And I feel like I missed something when trying to describe it to you, because once you saw it in action, you were like, I get this. But to explain for no good reason, what I did is I opened the game on a Windows XP virtual machine, installed it there, which gave me the game files, and that's all you need to play the game. However, the disk will not install on a Windows 10.
So as long
Ta-da!
as you have it you have that version of it, then you can mount the game files, and then you can play it.
Yep.
So you can't install it, but you can play it with the installed files.
Now you're mostly done. When you play the game, you can only obtain the swords by waiting for the angel to complete their speech, and then they disappear, leaving the sword. Simple as that. However, we discussed the bug, where this will often not happen. So limit the frame rate to 49 or anything under 50. This will prevent the glitch. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's okay. Keep reloading the save. If the angel doesn't drop the sword, try shooting, running, jumping, pushing objects, and even looking at the skybox to lower the frame rate. If you want to skip around a bit, there are a few cheat codes you can use. One of them is kind of counterproductive. The game's default movement layout is outdated and doesn't use WASD to move around. You can set it yourself and it works perfectly, but the first cheat code, when active, uses the W key to damage your character. So you can't move forward now. Anyway, the cheat code is entered by pausing the game and slowly typing in franchise me with no space. You don't have any indicator that you're currently typing it incorrectly, but if you do type it in full correctly, the game will play this sound.
Hallelujah!
Now you can press certain keys to refill health, ammo, and shield. Plus you can toggle super jump and haste. Only 2 other cheats I know of exist in the game. One of them, again, no spaces, Gray Hawk Not Nat, which makes whichever sword you wield shoot a super holy smiting shot, which is just an incredibly powerful and backed by some Solomon Scepter blobs. The last cheat, I am in a hurry, advances you to the next level when you click resume. Ben, that's Catechumen.
That's the whole thing. First game they made. Not the best game they made. That is Ominous Horizons, A Paladin's Calling. And that'll be the next game that we cover in this series.
That's right. If you want to watch my full playthrough, though very heavily edited, you can on our YouTube page. The video with all of its hidden maps is also there, as well as the Hall of Fame and demonstrations of the available demos of the game. To view all the sources, images, videos, downloads for today's episode, visit myleastfavoritepodcast.com and check the show notes for this episode.